So as it stands at the moment, we don't know if Russia was behind the Salisbury attack. And I'm the first to cast doubt on my own government. I don't trust the Conservatives at all. I think it's entirely possible that it is a false flag operation. I say this because the policies that they've put in place, the actions that Theresa May has done, that Esther McVey has done, and everyone else in that cabinet has cost lives. Not just ruined people, they have blood on their hands. But we don't know if Russia is behind this or not. Now, predominantly I see this on Facebook, but it keeps coming up, giving the impression that Russia and Putin are idealistic saints of truth and virtue and everything that's good and what every politician should be. The last one I saw was stating that Putin ended the Rothschilds' grip on the country and that he centralized the banks so that they only adhere to Russia, essentially making them a free country. Okay, great. But let's not forget that Vladimir Putin has ordered the execution of traitors before. And he has killed people on UK soil before. And while we're remembering this, let's also bear in mind that even though he has just won an election, political opponents of Putin go missing, suddenly decide to stop running. The names on ballot papers sometimes just disappear, and sometimes political opponents just wind up dead. Let's also remember that it's the same for journalists. If you are an outspoken Putin critic in Russia, in fact, very recently, a journalist was stabbed in the throat because she doesn't suck up to the Russian government. Let's also bear in mind that members of the LGBTQ community in Russia are shunned, are mocked, are publicly beaten, imprisoned, and sometimes murdered, with no ramifications to the people who commit these horrible crimes. Let's also bear in mind that he's affirmatively helping the Assad regime in murdering countless civilians. Let's also remember that in the last few years, he has invaded countries to no opposition. Crimea wasn't part of Russia, and when he strolled in with tanks and fully armed soldiers, he disguised it as an act of liberation and democracy because he gave them a vote. Unfortunately, if you actually look at what that vote was, it was stop being your own country and join Russia, or leave all EU protection with the chance of joining Russia later. It wasn't get Russia out of the country. And while we're on the subject of interfering with other countries, the Russian government, Putin, has, and this has been confirmed multiple times, poured millions into political campaigns and political parties in the United States, influencing their elections in terms of ads on Facebook and across social media, and even attempting to hack polling stations. Well, it's not confirmed that he did. It is confirmed that the Russian government did attempt this hacking, but also pouring millions of dark money into UK politics, affecting UK politics, doing the same thing that they did with America in terms of the advertising on social media and the trolls that they fabricate. I don't want to go to war arbitrarily. In fact, I think we should avoid war at all costs. And if Russia is behind this, we need to take very firm, very strict action. With all the things that Russia have done, I'm also not going to be quick to pin this on Russia before I have all of the facts and all the information. If it does turn out that it was a Russian attack, then I think we need to cut ties completely with Russia. Don't take any of the oil, don't take any of the resources, none of the food. We can cut them out. When it comes down to energy and everything else that we buy from foreign countries, we can go green. We have that technology. I posted a story recently. 20,000 scientists are all saying we need to act immediately. So, no, we don't need to be buying natural gases. We don't need to be buying fossil fuels from Russia. And certainly, if they have committed an act of war, which it would be if the Salisbury attack was due to Russia, it would be an act of war, then we don't need to be buying from them, as sanctions don't work. I mean, in theory, Russia have had sanctions from America for over a year, but they've not been enforced because they have bought and paid for politicians in America, the same as they have bought and paid for politicians here in the United Kingdom. This is not a time to be quick to judge or quick to think. Mostly because if we do end up going to war with Russia and it turns out, like with Saddam Hussein, there's no actual connection between A and B, we are going to lose the backing of the UN. In case people have forgotten, we're leaving the European Union. We need all the support and the backing that we could possibly get. This country is in a very, very delicate stage right now. It can't be pissed away just because we're willing to allow the media to influence what reality actually is. Take a breath, take a step back, but at the same time, remember the parties that are involved. Putin is not a saint. Theresa May is not a saint. As far as everything else, we are just going to have to wait and see until this evidence has been analysed in 16 different labs in multiple countries.